Hello everybody, I'm here again with the Plumbutter and a little friend. This is part 4 for the videos that I make Plumbutter for beginners like me. So this is my way of learning the instrument together with you, with your comments and your feedback. I learn and tips. I get every time something new to try. Now this time I'm going to do a short video because this is pretty simple what's happening, but it is a really important part of the Plumbutter. The Plumbutter has 3 inputs. So this input goes into the deer horn, this input goes into the AV dogs, and this one goes into the gongs. For me, these two work the best somehow, because the gongs, some are like special in this patch. I'm just playing the kick. I don't think it's necessary to just use this input, but they all kind of work the same from what I understand, and they work quite simple. I've prepared as a first test, I'm going to play on my phone a recording of Le Monde Young from the well-tuned piano, just as an example. I am amplifying a little bit the signal because somehow the volume from the phone is not enough to feed the Plumbutter, the input, enough. But yeah, it's something that every audio source will be different, so you need to test it yourself to see. So I'm going to turn it on. So as you can hear now, I'm still controlling the volume from the AV dog, so I can take it out if I want to. And it's important to say that this is exactly the same patch as the previous video, so if you haven't seen it, go there and see it. It's pretty cool. So I'm turning the volume from the AV dog on here on the mixer, and you can hear the recording, the audio that comes in through the input. Now, can you influence the audio that comes in? Yes. The audio is being triggered already from the triggers that come from the sequencer here. So what you hear is the inputs being triggered, and so it is a part of the patch, and you can synchronize it with what's happening on the Plumbutter, so that's good. But the only thing that changes the sound is this button here. And this one can make the sound that comes in just like it does with the sound of the AV dog. It can make it, it's kind of like a vibrato, like a modulation, like a volume modulation, and you can go to quite fast. This is the fastest you can take it. And I'm making it slower and slower. Well, for this patch I think it's good to just keep it as long as possible, and maybe the volume a little bit less. We don't need to have that. Of course, what else you can do, and which is important, you can of course turn the AV dogs on and have them droning together with your audio input. Of course, you need to figure out how to make it work tonally, that it kind of fits with each other. But anyway, this recording is very special, has its own a very special tuning, if you know the work from Le Monde Young. And it's not like you're gonna make it work exactly, but it kind of fits. It kind of fits because the piano sound is kind of very bright, and with a low drone, it's not so disturbing. The tonalities, they kind of they fit with each other because the timbre of the sound is very different. Now the recording has gone a little bit too soft. So the problem is, of course, that there is no separate volume button for the input and for the AVDogs, so you have only this here, and you can turn them off if you want to let the audio input only inside the Plumbutter, or you can turn them on if you want to hear them both. Of course, you can turn both of the AVDogs on, and I have this one go a little bit faster, so it's kind of, there is some interesting rhythmical patterns, but I think it's too much with the second one, so I prefer just the one, or maybe nothing. That's alright. That's alright too. And of course, you can still use the rest of the Plumbutter like you're used to. What we can do now is change it really fast. I'll turn it down and go in here into the deer horn. What I noticed is that the audio in is being triggered by the top oscillator here. So if I turn it on and turn the deer horn out, now you hear the same sample, the same input audio source through the deer horn, but I need to trigger the top oscillator. This one, it doesn't do anything. And of course, I'm sending, if you've seen the previous video, you see that I'm sending noise into the deer horn. So you can definitely add noise into the deer horn also to the audio source. You hear it is very noisy now, but I can turn it off. Yeah, so you can decide if you want some noise in there to make it sound a little bit more lo-fi. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce my little friend here, the AUX analog synthesizer, which every time I set it up, it's like, wow, it sounds amazing. It sounds amazing. And I have the big modular system here, so I'm not using it that much. But every time I use it, I'm saying like, why I'm not using that often enough. Anyway, I can do the same thing. I can, let's patch it here because it's ready. And there is a drone here on the AUX, and it's gonna go through the deer horn now. And as you can hear, the trigger dies away and then the sound goes away. So I can trigger it again and again. I'm not sure if I can. This is going to be risky, but I'm going to try it. I mean, there must be a way to trigger this. We know from the previous patch there are some people who told me about that. So maybe we can trigger without any movement the AUX, maybe through the sequencer. I just plugged it in there on one of the red outputs from the sequencer. As you can hear, the pattern has changed from the sequencer. So this is how it goes with. Now it's being triggered now. Yeah. It's quite tricky to, sometimes the triggers push the sound a little bit hard, so you need to be careful with the volumes. There's something to do about this button that has to do with the triggers here, and it seems to me that on the fully clockwise, it's smoothly, the transitions are smoother from trigger to trigger, and here it's a little bit more abdrag, how do you say that, more harsh, yeah. So you could do that, and let's see if we could take it through the AV dogs too. AV dogs are closed. The volume. So this one now is being triggered from this, and this one can change the behavior. Yeah, you hear the quick modulation now. Hand tool, extreme. The little high frequencies you hear from the sound is from the amazing filter here. And if I'm turning this a little bit higher, it goes really fast, you can hear them very clearly. Here also. I have to say that there is also a little bit of the echo here. This echo is amazing, and it's an amazing partner of the synthesizer here. Okay, so yeah, I think that's it. It's pretty simple how it works, at least on this level, on the beginner's level. When you start patching things in and out, things might go crazy. I'm not sure why this AV dog doesn't respond to the input that I'm putting here, especially because the input is just right under it. I would expect that this button, which is the same as this one, would also do something, but it doesn't. Of course, you can turn the AV dogs on there. Yeah, so here now I kind of tuned it a little bit, so it fits. So this one's a little bit faster, has a different trigger anyway. And this one also now on. A little bit too much altogether. Maybe I should have tuned something on higher frequencies, but anyway, tuning is a thing, of course. You need to take your time, and if you turn it off, turn it on again, who knows what's gonna happen, especially also with a deer horn. I found it to be extremely sensitive to tuning. I had this perfect tuning, and yesterday I turned it up again and it was not. I had to retune it again, and today is a little bit also tricky. Anyway, this is it. I hope it's clear. Again, any feedback is welcome. Any idea, any tips for patching, let me know on the comments, and I'll give it a try for the next one. I hope you enjoyed it, guys. Till the next one, bye.